Have you talked to Secretary Yellen lately?
Regular engagement with Cabinet, yes, but
so have you asked her about when she's going to show up to give us a PPP report? She's several years past due now.
As requested in our previous hearings, we informed the Treasury about this request.
And they're ignoring you again, as they are ignoring the law, which says she's supposed to be here. That is not a request by a letter. That is in the law that Congress passed. She's supposed to show up. So, anyway, thank you for that. The discussion this morning is about, or has been quite a bit about, who's at fault for this. I can tell you, I was part of the group that put the PPP program together, and I can tell you I was very strenuous in my concerns about allowing the fintech companies in who do not have the controls in place. And that's where about 95%, according to the IG, and they testified in that chair right over there, that's where most of the fraud occurred in the PPP program. And I was very strenuous also in my remarks with regard to EIDL, knowing that there's basically none, zero, anything in place by the SBA to keep the money in place without being able to be fraudulently accessed, especially at the amounts that the program was allowed to grow to. That aside, you jumped into this program knowing where it was at. So now your responsibility is to clean it up. And that's the concern we have this morning, and that's where we're coming from with our questions. Why have you not gone out and sold part of the portfolio, and as Ms. Van Dyne talked about, in a way that alleviates the request for need for more money for your agency, as well as recover some of the money?
We have evaluated this, and at this point are still collecting successfully within SBA's own collection efforts.
Well, and if respect, Congress,
Madam,
as I have, Madam, Ms. Guzman,
I haven't answered the question.
I don't know how you can say you're adequately doing it. According to the IGA, you told the IGA that in October 23, 47.7 billion of the EIDL loans were written off. Is that not correct?
The EIDL portfolio is performing better than what Congress expected.
That's not my question. My question is, the IG didn't say that we could even validate the information, but you told him that you've got 47.7 billion that you have charged off of EIDL loans. Is that correct?
I'd have to double check those numbers before I testify to that. I would have to double check those numbers, and I will get back to you.
When did you charge those off?
Over the course of our collections.
Prior to September 30?
Again, we'll have to get specifics to you on this topic, but what I will share is that
loans off prior to September 30 of 2023.
I'd have to get back to you, sir, and I will.
Okay, let's ask the question this way: have you sent any 1099s out to the folks that you canceled the debt for?
I do not know where we're at in that process, and so again, we'll get back to you. But I will like to answer your question about COVID EIDL in particular. Obviously we've put in those strong controls into the program.
Well, yes. Again, Madam Chair, all due respect, or Madam Guzman, the IG sits in his chair here and comes in about once every 6 to 8 months and tells us in his report, you're not doing a lot of things that he requests you to do. You ignore the advice from the report that you actually requested and paid for from the accountants, although you did say KPMG said, well, you could do some of it. But the IG says you only implement about half of what he actually recommends. So when you say that you implement these things, it's a broad statement, which is not true. I'm sorry.
As I've shared with the chairman, going back to your original question about selling the portfolio, Congress could enact something and appropriate the dollars to sell the portfolio as it would cost the federal government money to sell it.
No, it would not, Madam Chair, Madam Guzman.
It would within the appropriations process.
There's no way it costs money when you recover money. When you sell the portfolio, you will recover some money and you will cover all the costs for whatever it is. You have a net gain.
We're happy to work with your team to review how that would work in appropriations, but that's what Congress action could take.
I know that CBO doesn't score it that way, but CBO doesn't score it correctly because they don't score the recovery.
And so as a result, it would cost taxpayer dollars to do that.
But you're going to recover several times more than that when you do that. I mean, this is not rocket science.
And we are still collecting, and this portfolio is still performing. As I said, it's performing way better than any disaster we've ever.
Ms. Guzman, we're going to send you a request to find out when these 47.7 billion were charged
Happy to
off.
reply to that. Thank you.
And did you send 1099s out?
Happy to reply to those requests.
You didn't do that.
Thank you.
You're in violation of the law. Again, whose decision was it to not sell the portfolio?
Ultimately, we haven't made any final decision on this portfolio as we are still collecting. We're still going through the 9 steps on PPP and the 14 steps on EIDL that are required, which is referring to Treasury.
Reports that you got?
We are acting on those reports that said that we could still potentially profit by trying to collect at the Treasury stage. And so we have pursued the Treasury option. We are still in that phase, and we are making collections, continuing to make sure that this portfolio performs. And again, this is outperforming any expectations of Congress.
Oh, I guarantee it won't outperform my expectations. I guarantee you.
As
another quick question
established.
for you here. You made a statement a while ago that you've doubled down on staffing to do the recovery of these things. Are those people working from home or they're working from the office?
Doubled down on staffing. I said I doubled down on, during this testimony, I said I doubled down on staffing to clear some backlogs and certifications.
My question is, are they working from the office or are they working from home?
Our position at the SBA is 5 days of in work, or 5 days in the office for all of our employees that are in, working not in a remote stance.
Then you answer my question again. The question is very simple. Are they working in the office or are they working from home? Yes or no?
It's a mixture. And some of them are working in the office. And
so you're hiring people to work from home?
During the pandemic, people were hired
that's not my
temporarily
my question
on a remote
is,
basis.
The new people you're hiring, are they going to work from
permanent
home? Or are they going to work in the office?
Any new permanent people who are hired at the SBA come into non-remote status, so meaning that they do have to come into the office.
So the new people are working from the office?
Any new person hired on a permanent basis at the SBA, yes, they definitely have to work at the SBA.
This is unbelievable. I can't get a straight answer. It took me 3 minutes to get an answer on that question.
It depends what you're asking
It's
and letting me
simple
allow.
question, Ms. Guzman. A while ago, you made also a statement about red tape. You said you're cutting red tape. Can you give me examples from red tape you cut?
Yes, affiliation for control caused a lot of cumbersome processes for our lenders, especially when it came to the time of performing against that guarantee. And so we have simplified the program for our lenders, which ultimately will benefit the borrowers. And that's across our regulatory reform, same with the SBICs, simplifying the process of licensing to ensure that we cut red tape for those participants.
Okay. Folks aren't here yet. So with that, we're going to thank you, Administrator Guzman, for your testimony, for appearing for us today. Without objection, members have 5 legislative days to submit additional materials and written questions for the witness to the chair, which will be forwarded to the witness. Ask the witness to please respond promptly. If there is no further business, and without objection, the committee is adjourned.
Thank you.